What's up, guys? This is my most requested video. It's how to get out of blue ranks. And it makes sense. Most players are blue ranks. It's the dead middle of Tekken now. Fujin is the most common rank. So yeah, if you're in blue ranks and you're watching this video, I'm going to give you a few simple tips on how to get out. I know it might seem like it's more complicated than just, here's tip one, here's tip two. But if you follow the principles of what I'm saying in this guide and you just listen to these simple rules, you will climb out of blue ranks. And I have a bunch of people in my Discord getting out of blue ranks right now. So just listen up and stay humble. Because the truth is, if you're in blue ranks, you are mid at the game. I even consider myself mid at the game. Uh, if you're in blue ranks, you're mid, accept it, and try to get better. So the biggest tip I have for anyone in these ranks, and I say this to like blue ranks, Tekken Kings, Tekken Emperors, Tekken Gods, it's just stop jab checking everything. Uh, People at these ranks, they might play like idiots, but they understand the game just as much or probably more than you do. And so they understand when people want to jab back. They want to jab back whenever they're on like slight minus or plus, right? Like block it down, block a jab, they'll jab back. Block it down forward one, they'll jab back. Yeah, the bot's doing it now. But there's this crazy flowchart that I see all the time in blue ranks, which is just -9 ducking. And what that is uh, they duck after a -9 move. People are going to jab back because they don't know it's -9, but they know it's like kind of minus, and then they'll launch them. So something like this. And now you're dead. And this happens all the time in these mid ranks. Is just people baiting out on minus frames to get some kind of scam damage. And that brings me to point 1A, which is don't get scammed in this game. This game, you can play very tight in a way. Like, there's a lot of strings that have extensions. So, like, there's down forward ones. Obviously, there's a game with jabbing back on down forward ones, but there's also down forward 1-2s, which will heat engage you on a counter hit or even launch you on a counter hit or wall splat you. There's a million bad things that can happen if you're too press happy. And people at these ranks obviously know this. There's like 3 hit strings that people are using all the time to catch you on the last hit. If you're in these ranks, you know what I'm talking about. Where all of these moves are not designed as checks by the opponent, they're designed to just catch you pressing and scam you out of the round. The easiest way to avoid getting scammed in games is just to be a bit more lax about checking back with buttons. You don't need frames all the time. If you're at this rank, you probably don't even know what to do with your frames half the time. Like, just, you don't need a jab back every time someone's doing pressure on you. Like, this guy's jabbing back. Uh, Maybe he'll get hit by a down forward 1-2 if he jabs back. Like, you don't want to be getting scammed by these situations. I'm not telling you give your opponent infinite respect, but just keep track of how many times you're jabbing back, because this move is not safe enough to just be thrown out all willy-nilly. The second tip is on the flip side. The reason why I tell blue rank players to not get scammed is because there's a lot of scammers. And in this rank, just try not to be the scammer. It holds you back from becoming a better player. And what I mean by scams is stuff that isn't fair damage. So what is fair damage? I guess is the first question. Fair damage is stuff like health sweeps. It's stuff like low pokes. It's stuff like mids. It's stuff like demon claws. It's stuff like stance mix-ups. That's all fair damage. Whereas unfair damage is counter hits that hit at the end of strings, something like this, or something like this, uh, or something like this. Jams are also traps, like this god kick into duck launcher thing that I showed. If you feel like what you're doing is a setup or a flow chart rather than just fair damage with a low or fair damage with a mid, you're probably playing into a scammer trap playstyle. And the thing is, this isn't like a philosophical thing about small or big tech, and this has nothing to do with that. It's just if you're doing traps and setups, there's a point where you reach like the upper bracket of Tekken God where people can play perfectly if they want to play perfectly. And what I mean by playing perfectly is they're not going to fall for shit. They're not going to fall for strings. They're not going to fall for extensions. Uh, it's very easy to play perfectly once you get to the right rank, at least on a fundamental level. And because of that, this trap playstyle doesn't scale. And by the time you get to Bushin, you need to be able to beat Tekken Emperors. And if you can't beat Tekken Emperors, then you're never going to get out of blue. And the only way to do that is by doing fair damage. I don't care if it's small Tekken like this, or if it's big Tekken like Hell Sweeps. It literally doesn't matter. That's your own playstyle. But you need to focus on getting your damage in when you can with lows and mids. You can't just focus on hoping that people press into your strings like idiots, because at a certain point, that's not going to happen. Just some quick notes. I have Discord where people are playing games literally every day, which is surprising. I haven't made a video in a long time, but people are playing games every day. Super helpful, giving tips on VC. Every rank is represented. So just hop in if you want some help. Everyone is super helpful and nice. Please subscribe, and I have a Twitter, so drop me a follow. My third tip is to focus on your combo game and your Okizumi game, because I see too many players in these ranks just use like some bullshit combos like this. Well, if I could do an electric and set this guy to standing, they do like something like this, and then they just can't end it, or they do one tornado into an ender, and it does like 50 damage. You need to consistently be able to bring someone to wall all the time. That doesn't mean do the max damage combos, but that does mean know how to use heat burst and heat dash in your combos to extend the wall carry. And once you're at the wall, you have an idea and a game plan of what you want to do. In this game, it's just math. If you can win in less interactions, you have a higher chance to win than someone that can't. My fourth tip is just to focus on building a persona about your opponent as soon as you get into the first game with them. And I'll give you 3 easy personas that I use in my own game plans. So like, if I see someone that likes to press on minus frames a lot, that's a masher. If I see someone that's just holding block and waiting to hit a counter hit, down forward 2, that's a holding blocker. I don't have good names for these. There's a couple more archetypes, like the guy that's just throwing bullshit. This is a bullshitter. Like they're just throwing these like strings and they don't actually know how to play the game. Uh, Building these personas about your opponent gives you kind of a predetermined game plan on how to deal with them. It's like if someone's pressing a lot on their minus frames, like -1 off a jab or +8 off a jab hit, maybe you're gonna do more frame traps. Risk heat engages sometimes with these strings that hit on counter hit, or natural combo sometimes. If someone's a hold backer, this is the one I see a lot of people struggle with. It's just people holding back and fishing for down forward 2s. You need to be opening these guys up with hell sweeps. You need to be messing up your timing, doing some dash blocks in their face, doing the Ultron shuffle. You ever seen this? There's a lot of things that you can do against these types of players, and if you're able to quickly build those routes in your mind, like you play the round 1, and this guy mashes on your +8 with a rage art and it kills you, that's a masher. You understand how to beat mashers, and now you have a game plan. So now maybe your game plan against this masher is after your plus frames, you do something small like a down forward 1, which won't get beat out by rage art, because rage art takes 8 frames to armor. Just like small things like that that improve your understanding about the game. If you treat every opponent like a new opponent, you'll never get any data or make downloads. And I would say for the 5th tip, the mistake I see the most is something that you can do extremely easily. This takes no work. It's just adding fuzzy movement to your movement. Adding these like mini sidesteps. What they do is that they make advancing moves a bit riskier to do. So, you know what? I'll set this Kazuya to do Demon Paw. Or shit, that's not Demon Paw. I'll set this Kazuya to do Demon Paw, right? And I'll just show you what this fuzzy movement can do. If they're approaching with Demon Paw a lot, you know, just keep sidestep blocking. And one of these times I get a launch. It's just, this is super risk-free for the most part. And it lets you get whiff punishes a lot. It's just keeping this fuzzy movement up. And it's like, oh, what if I get clipped? How are you gonna get clipped from back here? Come on. Like let's be real. Over here, it's very safe. And people in your ranks are throwing these like gigantic haymaker moves, like running 3. They're super linear. They most running moves and forward moves don't even track to one side. So just keeping your movement fuzzy. All I'm doing here is just sidestep, block, sidestep, block, sidestep, block, or sidewalk cancel block, sidewalk cancel block. If you're doing this fuzzy movement, it just protects you from a lot of the most rewarding moves and lets you get free launches all the time. And for just to show you how important this is, if this person is never fuzzy blocking, this Kazuya, every time I'm back in neutral like this, I'm gonna do running 3 on him. I'm +6 into chip, like frame trap into it, they're dead. You have to be fuzzy blocking these moves all the time. And for the sixth tip, I don't want this video to go on forever. This is intended to be a short video because honestly, getting out of blue ranks is just understanding how to get fair damage in when you can. Or, on the other hand, being a hard step Tekken King, Tekken Emperor, and just doing these like disgusting flow charts. You don't want to be that guy. But that's a tangent. Getting out of blue ranks just takes improvement of fundamentals. It means understanding how to avoid these high reward advancing moves. It means understanding how to beat jab checks and -9 duckers. But honestly, all of that kind of comes secondary to the basics, and the basics are just punishment. If someone whiffs in your face, you got to be able to kill them for it. If someone's doing -12 moves in your face, at least do I-10. Even -15, at least do the I-10. It doesn't matter. Just flash punch everything that looks punishable until you learn what's punishable and what's not. It doesn't need to be super complex, but you need to be understanding how to do with punishment and how to do block punishment. And it's just presence of mind, to be honest. It's intention and presence of mind. If you have the intention of practicing punishment, if you have the intention of practicing with punishment, you will be with punishing and block punishing in your games. Stop focusing on bullshit like this. Stop focusing on bullshit like this. Just get in there, get your damage in when you can. Scam sometimes when you think that you have a read on their persona, and at all their times, focus on your defense, focus on your fuzzy movement. And then, once they make a mistake, kill them for it. That's it. Blue ranks, you guys are mid. That's okay. Everyone was mid at this game at one point. Some people don't even get to be mid. So you guys have done a great job, but understand that there's no tricks to getting out of here. Every tip that I gave is just fundamentals. It's a way to think about the game that maybe you haven't thought about the game in before. But everything that you need to know at this point is basics. I guess just to conclude the video, there's just a couple points that I want to reiterate. Everyone in this elo is getting their damage unfairly with string extensions, with -9 ducking, stuff like that. Or if I could do the -9 duck, I would show it. But essentially, everyone's doing this -9 ducking, string extension, counter hit launcher bullshit. Don't let that be you. I saw a Hwarang in Tekken King that had 15,000 games. I had the honor of playing with him. He was trash. He's never getting out. Don't be that guy. Just focus on your game. And it's not even like a philosophical discussion of like what's fair damage, what's a scam damage. Scam damage is just it's a scam and it's fair. Fair damage is just something that has trade-offs like lows and stuff. Whereas scam damage is just catching someone making a mistake. At a certain point, people are not going to make mistakes. Even in blue ranks, there comes a point where people aren't making many mistakes. And you need to be able to understand how to get your damage in when it comes. And when you get your damage in, make sure it's good damage. Get those combos good. Get that Okuzeme good. Understand how to bring someone to wall. When you're at the wall, understand what's the most bullshit thing I can do to them. Focus on getting the maximum damage from your punishes and your whiff punishes. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. I just feel like people in this rank are misguided. Like, they're like, oh, what's this new setup that I could do? Or, look at this crazy -9 duck setup that people always jab into. And then they get pissed off because people aren't jabbing into their -9 strings anymore. And it's like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do? Don't let that be you. Just focus on your game. Focus on the stuff that I told you today, and you'll be out of blue ranks in no time. Thanks for watching, and just final note, like, shout out to my Discord community. You guys should join if you're looking for games with people around your level. Like, everyone here is like purple ranks to Tekken God ranks. We have some pros in here. We got Trizzy in here. Shout out Trizzy, my coach. There's people looking for matches every single day. Like, this is just people in my community looking for games. I'm giving tips. They're giving tips. This is just the best thing. Shout out to all the people in my community playing games when I'm not even making videos. Like you guys should join. I don't even make any money off of this shit, damn near. So this isn't like a plug. This is just to be helpful.